I want to bring up Greg Heath now. Now, this is an interesting thing about Greg. There's a lot of different titles you can give, including he's now a director and sits on the board of the foundation. But the word that matters more to him than anything else, I can guarantee, is why he's going to be coming up on the stage. And that is because his title is Dad. Would you please welcome Greg Heath? Come on up here, Greg. All right.
Good afternoon. My name is Greg Heath, and I'm the father of 4 wonderful children, 3 of whom are girls. I'd like to share with you the experience of our family and the experience that we've had with adolescent girls' mental health. This is a very personal story for our family, and I suspect our story is not that dissimilar from many other families here in this room today. And I will begin by telling you that our story has a happy ending. When our daughter was 9, she experienced some traumatic episodes relating to her mother's health. It was a scary time for her and for everyone in our family. The outcome was uncertain, and she had to deal with some very adult possibilities. But ultimately, things got better, and our life returned to normal. It was only a number of months later that our daughter started to exhibit some anxious behaviors. We knew she was struggling with some issues: her fear of being alone, her tentativeness, some small obsessive-compulsive behaviors, and her fear of stressful situations. In retrospect, the signs were all there for us, but we chose not to do anything. I'm not even sure that we consciously chose one way or another. We just didn't talk about it, or think about it, or do anything about it. Life was pretty busy, and we figured she would grow out of it. As a father, as a parent, I can't describe for you how it feels when your child draws cut marks on her wrist and tells you that she's thinking about self-harm. As a father, when you find your child cowering in the corner of the shower, holding herself and screaming and unable to explain what is happening in her head. Those were moments when I was forced to ask myself hard questions about my priorities and challenge myself about the father that I was versus the father that I thought I should be. We did seek help for our daughter, at first through the Alberta healthcare system. The care that we received was responsive, it was empathetic, but it was very much focused on teaching our daughter to cope with her challenges, and that did not feel right to us. It felt outdated and backward-looking, and her symptoms and her behaviors continued to worsen. We were absolutely convinced that our daughter's issues were something that she could beat, not something that she had to live with for the rest of her life. So we set out to find a specialist, someone who understood specifically what our daughter was experiencing, and someone with the skills to communicate with her. We sought help at a private clinic with a fantastic therapist that took the time to listen to our daughter and understand how she saw the world, what she was thinking, and how she was feeling. It was absolutely remarkable. From the very first hour of therapy, our daughter improved and improved. Today, a number of years later, I can tell you that our daughter has grown into a confident, strong, and brave young woman who looks at new experiences in her life with excitement and curiosity rather than apprehension and fear. We are so incredibly proud. So with the clarity of time, when we look back upon the challenges our family has had with mental health, we are left with some clear realizations. The first, how easy it was for an isolated set of traumatic incidents to tip the scale for our daughter and to prevent some healthy connections from developing in her brain the way they should. The second, how easy it would have been to dismiss or ignore these behaviors or assume that anxiety was something that she would simply have to cope with for the rest of her life and perhaps medicate. The third realization, how quickly things could have gotten worse, so much worse. And finally, and most importantly, how simple it was to fix with the right help. It wasn't easy. It required courage from our daughter, humility and recognition from her parents, communication between us, and lots of love. But in the end, it was pretty simple. So to finish, I want to read to you a passage that was written by our daughter. She wrote, "I always felt as if I was standing on the edge of a cliff, that anxiety transferred into every aspect of my life, even at one point preventing me from attending school. Over 2 years later, I was still dealing with the repercussions of that trauma. I realized then that it was necessary for me to speak openly to my daughter about the torment I felt. I did not deserve for my mind to be trapped in this nightmare. I want to tell my story to help in the fight against stereotypes and stigmas surrounding mental illness. Needing help with your mental health is not something to be ashamed or humiliated about. I hope people will learn that if you are mentally sick or if you are in need of help for whatever reason, it is okay to speak out and ask for help. Being mentally ill is not a journey anyone should have to navigate alone." Those are her powerful words about her experiences. We as a family were fortunate to have the resources to seek specialist help, but not every family has those resources. Our family is passionate about the causes for Girl Power Hour and Lionheart Foundation for the simple belief that every young girl should have the opportunity to thrive. Thank you.